The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
In the times of Rabbi Yehuda Assad in Hungary, Rabbi Yehuda Assad was the Gadol Hador, and there was a shul there, and the shamus in the shul every day before it's starting to get dark, between Mincha and Ma'ariv, he would come and he would light the oil candles to the Besmedrash. He would put on his gartel and he would mamash say l'shem yichud. It was by him, kabda is Hashem ba'urim, to light the lights in the Beis HaMikdash in the shul for the Rabbeinu Shalom, was a ganze avoda. And he did it with a ganze ernstkeit. And one day, the katzev, today we use the word katzev for a butcher, but in those days a katzev was someone who was an investor. He bought a live cow without knowing if it's kosher or not. And he would take a chance on the meat that it would be kosher, and then if it was kosher, he would cut it up and sell it to people and make a lot of money. But if it was treif, he would have to sell it at a tremendous loss to the goyim. So this katzev was doing very, very well. And he came into the Beis Medrash and he saw how this shamus is lighting the candles to the Beis HaKnesses. And he came to him and he says, listen here, I really, really want to buy the mitzvah off of you. This ernstkeit, this yigiyah that you put in to light the candles for the Beis HaKnesses, I picture it mamish like I see the Kohen Gadol lighting the candles in the Beis HaMikdash, and I'm willing to pay for it. And the guy says, nah, it's my mitzvah, I'm not selling it, please do me a favor. And every day the katzev would come to shul and he would beg the guy, please sell it to me. Finally, the shamus said, you know what, I don't do anything without the Rav. Let me ask the Rav. And he went to Rabbi Yehuda Assad, and he told Rabbi Yehuda Assad the story how this katzev is begging him and making him crazy to sell him the mitzvah. And Rabbi Yehuda Assad said, listen here, this is what I want you to do. I want you to tell the katzev the next time he comes over to you, yeah, you want to pay for the mitzvah? Give me a golden coin. A golden coin was a tremendous amount of money. It was not the copper coin, it was not a silver coin, it was a golden coin. It was something that people would make a major purchase with. And he says, if you give me a golden coin, I'll sell you tonight's hadlaka. And the katzev said 100%. He put his hand in his pocket, he took out a golden coin and he gave it to him. He says, now the hadlaka is mine. And he says, yes, it's yours. And Maria Assad told him that when the guy gives you the golden coin, you should bring it home and you should make yourself a box and put this gold coin in a box and don't use the money till I tell you. And every day this shamus would come into the Beis Medrash and the katzev would be waiting for him there. And the katzev would give him a golden coin, and he would light the menorah, the candles to the Beis HaKnesses. And this went on for years and years. And then, one day, there was too many animals that were not kosher. And the katzev lost all his money. And the katzev came into the Beis Medrash, and he was crying. He was davening to Hashem. He says, Hashem, I have to marry off my daughter. I don't have 2 nickels to scratch together. I need to do something. I used to be a gevir. I have nothing today. And somebody in the Beis Medrash heard and went to tell Rabbi Yehuda Assad what he just heard, what the katzev was saying. And Rabbi Yehuda Assad went and called in the shamus. And he told the shamus that now's the time for you to bring that money and to use the money. And listen to me carefully. This is how you're going to spend the money. I want you to take all the money, all those gold coins that you have, and I want you to give it to the katzev and tell him that this is the money for you to marry off your daughter. And the shamus, he didn't say nothing. He didn't say no beforehand. He didn't say, when the Rav told him to sell the mitzvah, he didn't say no. And when the Rav told him to take the money and put it in the box, he didn't say no. And when the Rav told him he can't use it, now the Rav's telling him now's the time to use it, but you're not using it for yourself. You're using it to do a mitzvah of achnosas kala. And with that mitzvah, you're going to go and you're going to give back the katzev all the gold coins that he gave you. And Avada, he gave it the katzev the money, and the katzev understood now that Rabbi Yehuda Assad didn't stop make things up. He saw the future, he saw what was going to happen, and he had this all in mind. And look what happened in this story. So many things that we could take a lesson from. The katzev that thought that he's giving money to the shamus was really giving it for himself. He was the beneficiary. In the end, he got that money, and he was zoicha because he gave away the money for a mitzvah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu helped him that he was able to marry off his daughter with niceness and without feeling like a schlepper. And because of the mitzvah that the shamas did, he went and he lit the candles at the Ganses Lahavas, that the Katzav was able to think that this is like the Kohen Gadol in the Beis HaMikdash lighting the menorah. He was Zoicha, that not only that he was Zoicha to light the Neiros in the Beis HaMikdash. We say every Shabbos, we make a special Mishaberach for those that give the Ner Lamor. But he was also Zoicha to do a tremendous mitzvah of Achnosas Kala, and all that money that was rightfully his, because he sold the mitzvah, was now used for Achnosas Kala. And the last thing that he did was that this Hadloka that he made was also Goyrim, that the neshama of the Katzav was lit on fire. The neshama of the Katzav had an awakening, and he, Taka, also grew, and it lit him up that he had his lahavas to buy the mitzvah, and every day he came, and he took his hard-earned money, and he made it into a gold coin, and he gave it to the Katzav because he wanted to have that mitzvah. And the Rebbeinu Shem sees all these things. And when the Rebbeinu Shem sees all these things, he makes it that everybody should gain, and nobody loses. There's enough schar for everybody to share, and we do mitzvahs and ma'asim tovim.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org